All right, we on.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah,
live.
yeah.
We live. What's going on, y'all?
Welcome to Night and Day Metaphysics.
Yup, we're gonna get into this TikTok. I mean, the metaphysics of TikTok, the final countdown. Um, so TikTok going through the through the House of Representatives. They pretty much ruled on TikTok being banned or even sold. Either sell a
Right.
company or ban it. That's what they telling the Chinese owners of TikTok. Um, so we wanted to get into the meaning of TikTok and why this what's the real meaning of
Right.
why TikTok is being banned and what it means to the metaphysical side of things. So we're gonna get into that. Um, I guess we
First,
can get into the article.
we're gonna get into this NPR article
Pull this NPR article up.
why the House voted to ban TikTok and what could come next. So the House voted overwhelmingly Wednesday to approve the bipartisan bill that will require ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok, to sell the social media app or face a ban on all U.S. devices. The vote was 352 to 65.
Yep.
The legis- wow, that's crazy. The legislation fate is unclear in the Senate. The top two lawmakers on the Senate Intelligence Committee, Senator Marco Rubio uh, from Florida and Mark Warner from Virginia, released a joint statement praising the House bill and urging the Senate action, but the timeline is unclear. Several lawmakers have suggested the Senate should hold hearings on the legislation before moving forward. Republican Mike Gallagher, who chairs the House Select Committee on China and is the lead GOP sponsor of the bipartisan bill, maintains that the bill does not amount to a ban of the video sharing app. What we're after is not a ban, it's a forced separation, Gallagher told NPR. The TikTok user experience can continue and improve so long as ByteDance doesn't own the company. In practice, however, the bill would ban TikTok in the United States. Both the company and China historically have refused to consider divestiture. Um, TikTok has said the banning of a social media platform will amount to a violation of free speech rights of millions of Americans. Gallagher says classified and unclassified national security assessments show that the app is a threat to user privacy and that it aren't all these apps are a threat to hold. That's crazy.
Right.
And that's been used to target journalists and to interfere in elections. Top officials from intelligence and national security agencies conducted a classified briefing on their analysts for all House members on Tuesday. Classified information is not made public, in part because it deals with matters of national security. However, officials have not offered public evidence of the Chinese Communist Party using the app for surveillance or propaganda purposes, though experts say it's theoretically possible that Beijing could use TikTok to push its agenda. Hmm.
And that's what they've been doing though.
I,
Right.
I I feel like there's more. I feel like it's coming from here.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't feel like it's coming from China. I feel like the psyops that's being ran on TikTok is coming from America.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it ain't coming from China.
Nah.
We're gonna get into
Look
those
at-
challenges a little bit later
Yeah. China don't even see.
because
China
those
don't even see.
TikTok challenges didn't come from China.
Yeah. China don't even see the content from America on that app. You know what I'm saying? Because
But those weird TikTok challenges
yeah.
that make the app real weird and could possibly make it a threat to people didn't come from China.
Right.
Uh,
No.
That stuff was bred over here.
It was here because those
Right.
challenges wasn't going on in China.
Right. They
Those
were going on
challenges were
here.
taking place on
Facts.
here. China didn't
Yeah.
even see none of that. Didn't even see none of that over here because they in a whole different sector. So they didn't see. Well, they don't get the same content that we see. So the house is basically bullying China into selling the app, or you're basically selling the app or it's gonna get banned. And that's the American side of things. So that's where they most profitable at. That app is most profitable on the American side of things, and not China. Because America being the biggest consumers of everything. So yeah, all right, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get into it. Let me pull up this
So this
yeah, go
whole
ahead.
TikTok, this whole TikTok thing is really just a countdown anyway. So the whole thing was a psyop at the beginning. I
Hmm.
mean, it don't matter who owns it, rather China or America, it still did the job that it was supposed to do.
Yeah,
I mean, any of y'all like is conscious or paying attention, TikTok is a countdown to something.
exactly.
A countdown. Tick tock, tick tock. What does it count down to?
Right.
Everybody can feel something is brewing globally. I mean, we had, you know, the pandemic and all that stuff happened, right?
Yeah.
That was something globally. That was a global event.
Right.
But people feel like that's just the beginning. And
Exactly.
if y'all realize during that pandemic when everybody was all locked in and everything, quarantine, whatever, TikTok was booming the most around that time. That's when TikTok really took off.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And throughout that whole time, challenges, these weird challenges were coming about. Those challenges were psyops.
Flip the
And it just
switch.
wasn't just for TikTok set the precedent for it.
Hmm.
TikTok set the precedent for it, but all the other platforms follow. Instagram, Twitter. Everybody had to follow behind TikTok at one point. Cause you see
Right.
how TikTok killing them with the short videos, and everybody else had to come up with the reels and everything. Basically, going back to the Vine method.
Yeah.
But if y'all remember, there were certain challenges on those Jones that really stuck out, like the flip the switch challenge and all that type of stuff. Now, when we talking about TikTok, we talking about time. And if you want to take it to a metaphysical thing, the first bit of time, like recording device that we had for time, one of them was the hourglass.
Let's get into it.
The
Hourglass,
hourglass
one of the earliest
is really
timekeeping
one of the
devices.
first devices to record time.
Right.
And if you study the hourglass, you'll see the hourglass is basically two vortexes.
As above, so below.
Right. And what's moving in between that is sand, basically the material world.
The sands of time. Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? The material is basically a material world moving in between two vortexes. And it goes above and it goes below. So what's happening right now is a TikTok countdown to something, an event.
Hmm.
And this event will represent a paradigm shift. When things get flipped, now you always hear about this flip the switch moment.
Yep.
You starting to hear about that a lot, and then they had the flip the switch challenge, and
Right.
actually had Drake do one of the songs.
Yeah. What was that song called? What was that song called? Thanks for
It
the
was the flip the
super.
switch song.
Thanks for the super sticker, Tiara. Yeah. What was
Now,
that jump called?
who's doing the song? Drake, the
Yeah.
Draconian.
Right.
Now this is all symbolic stuff. The age of the Draconian,
Hmm. Let me see.
Draconian laws.
Right.
Now it's a countdown. Now they did that also did the pyramid, the crate, the stack the crate challenge
Challenge.
where
Yeah.
people was getting all jacked up on that. Now if you look at a pyramid, the pyramid is in the hourglass. It's two pyramids.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, one pyramid is above and one pyramid is below because it's just showing you above and below. and then in the middle is where it meets. That creates a vortex,
Mm-hmm.
and that's basically how life is created. Also, everything is a vortex. Everything. The energy centers are vortexes. So everything that's energetic contains vortexes because it gotta have above and below, a positive and a negative, and then it got something in the middle, got to bridge it together.
Mm-hmm. And
So here
that's
we
what
got the
binds time. And that's what binds the time.
that's what binds time together and creates worlds, right? So there's about to
Yup.
be a flipping of something, a paradigm shift. It's a
Right.
countdown to a paradigm shift. Now it's interesting that the pyramid, they had to walk up these crates, these unstable crates, to get to the top of the pyramid,
To get to the other side. Yeah.
to get to the other side of the pyramid and walk back down the other side
Without falling.
without falling.
Trying to keep
So
balance.
we're at a time where the extremes is about to flip. Like people who's extremely wealthy could become extremely poor.
Or
People who's
yep.
extremely poor could become extremely rich. So everything is about to be a. And you can look at that across the board with everything. It's about to be a switch, a
Right.
paradigm shift. Now, the flipping of the switch challenge was a female and a male
The divine
changing.
feminine, divine
Yeah.
masculine. Yep.
Do we
Changing.
pull up a flip the switch,
Yeah,
John,
yeah.
real
Let's pull a
quick?
flip the switch challenge up. Yeah, let
So
me
they
do
can
that.
see what we talking about. I know most people know what we talking about because
Right.
that was a pretty popular challenge.
Yeah. So what happened? Yeah. So what happened is the sexes switched.
Right.
The male became the female, and the female became the male. Let me
So the
see.
divine feminine became the divine masculine, divine masculine became divine feminine. So they switch roles.
They switched roles.
Now we also seen a paradigm shift over there in England with the monarchs. The queen
Yeah.
died and her son King Charles became, so that was a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
And it's not going to stop there. It's about to be a paradigm shift across the board with everything, even the way we bank our money and everything. Like
Absolutely.
everything is about to shift.
Right. And bro, this flip the switch challenge was worldwide, so it wasn't even just in America.
Right,
They was doing it all over the world.
right.
China, they was doing it in China. They was doing it in Africa. They was doing it in Dubai. They was doing it in England. You know what I'm saying? Russia, pretty much not really Russia, 'cause they don't really, they don't really tolerate the same type of things. So let me go ahead and pull this flip the switch challenge up. Yeah, because Drake's song was, yeah, that's the song they was
Yeah,
using was
everything
Drake's
is
switch.
symbolic, and it rather people are conscious of it or not. And it
Right.
and it now there could be a conscious group that's organizing all this, or it might not be. Sometimes things just fall in line like that, and it's a
Yeah.
higher supreme spirit that's putting it together.
Right.
And sometimes we think that we sometimes we give people more power than they should have.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes some of this stuff is like literally just happening because it has to. It ain't
Right.
nobody like consciously doing it. It's like it could be like AI doing it, artificial intelligence.
Right.
That's the thing. That's how crazy it can be. And the thing is, no one could prove otherwise. We can't prove 100% that we're in a artificial intelligence simulation right now. No one could definitely prove that. You can't really confirm that or deny it. You wouldn't know.
Right.
The only thing that could get you there to partially knowing or fully knowing if you really tapped in is metaphysics.
Absolutely.
So obviously this world is built like a simulation. So if it's simulated, that means things can be switched on and switched off or switched up and switched down. Because you got to think about it, we're just energy moving through in a certain grid type,
Right.
all of us, because that's how we even communicate with each other is through energy. The vibes, we call it the vibes. So
And
it's
what do
just so
but listen though, I'm glad you brought that up because TikTok was the Doing app, and it means vibration sound.
Right.
That's what Douyin, because you gotta realize Douyin was Douyin is the China's version of TikTok. Even though TikTok is international, that's the international company for, you know what I mean. But Douyin is actually TikTok, the Chinese TikTok, which means the Douyin word means vibration shaking, or vibration rhythm, or something like vibration music or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we basically talking about. Let me pull that up. See, this
Yeah,
the
because
this
music is energy because of the
let me pull this
vibration.
up. Right.
Vibration is energy.
Let me pull this up.
Everything is energy. So there's
Yeah.
about to be a switch. Now even the principalities of gender, that's even energy. Feminine energy, masculine
Yeah.
energy. We say it all the time.
Yeah.
Like all
Douyin
of
is
it is
like
energy. So
vibration
there's about
sound.
to be a paradigm shift.
Yeah, Douyin is vibration sound in Chinese.
Right.
And that's the app. That's the app. TikTok app is Douyin. That's the China version. So when China doesn't download TikTok, they download Douyin, which is the China version of TikTok. It's still TikTok, but it's Douyin, which in just for China alone. That's why
Right.
we don't see. That's why China doesn't see the same content we see.
Look at this. So as you can see, the two principles are being switched around in this flip the switch challenge. And mind
Mhm.
you, they're doing this under the age of Drake, the Draconian. Now,
Right.
I'm not talking about the rapper, y'all. He's just symbol. See, he just symbolized that. You gotta understand, right now, Drake is the biggest artist on the planet right now, you could say. Between him and Beyonce.
Yeah.
Drake is known everywhere. I mean, he's
Mhm.
supposed to be because it's symbolic.
Yeah.
Whether it's consciously doing or not, but he represents the Draconian.
Yeah.
Now everybody talking about the reptilian, they talking about this, but draconian just literally is a system, an energetic system. It's a vampire system, and it's literally set up. That's what we're living in right now. And the vampire system, it is set up through pyramids. That's why we have something called a pyramid scheme. If you think about our banking system, is a pyramid scheme. Everything we do, everything, insurance is a pyramid scheme. Everything is a pyramid scheme because that's the vibratory rate that we're under, this draconian thing. And if you look at the hourglass, like we was telling y'all, it's two pyramids on one on top of the other, facing down. So it's like a vortex. That's all it is. So you
Yeah. So when
actually
I,
look up
right.
the let me read this from the hourglass, because people gotta understand this whole TikTok thing is a countdown. The hourglass is the first recorded device in history that record time. This is like the oldest thing right here. Like soon, like this is one of the oldest things because you had the sundials and stuff too. And that's like, but that's more so the cycles and the seasons. This is down to the hour or the minute. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So the hourglass was one of the earliest timekeeping devices. As such, its connection to time related symbolism is undeniable. The nature of the symbolism of the time is really up for personal interpretation. You can perceive it as a reminder that all bad things will soon pass, or as a symbol of remembering to appreciate the time that you do have. Ancient alchemists recognized the concept of balance in the hourglass. Its very shape is made up of triangles balancing each other out. Alchemists interpreted these triangles as representing two aspects of nature, the upper being the sky and the lower equating to the earth. And the symbolic meaning, energy passes between the two sides of the hourglass, just as the energies of our world are contained by the atmosphere and crust. All of the natural processes and cycles occur there, not including what happens in space, of course, which gives us a greater sense of relation with our environment. Basically, as above, so below, as within, you know what I mean,
So
as
without.
without,
Yep.
the micro and the macro. So this also forces us to realize our roles and nature cycles happening around us. Another common theme associated with the hourglass symbolism is the idea of inevitability. Um, all the events in nature run on cycles, and although we do have a say in our lives, there are some cycles that just cannot be stopped. Like we be talking about, Jr. How the destruction is inevitable. Like
Yeah,
that's
that's
why
what the
people
great
want the
challenge. Yeah,
mess. Yeah,
yeah,
everybody
that's why
want the
people want
mess.
the mess.
Nobody care
Yeah,
about craft or talent or anything. People just want the mess because the earth right now is going through a destruction phase, so a new one can take its place. New
that's what the
heaven, new
countdown
earth.
is. That's what the
Yeah,
countdown is.
so it's a TikTok or a countdown onto that paradigm shift that's happening.
Right.
This is big. Like this is one of the most important times ever. Like we all about to face something real huge right now. Like it's happening. And it's not that there's some group that's consciously doing this. They don't even have to be conscious of what they're doing, but
This
they're
is
going to
doing.
do it anyway.
Yeah, it's happening at a cosmic level first,
Right.
and
It
it's
happens at a
going
cosmic
down.
level, and this is just an echo of that.
Right.
Like this, it starts up there and it trickles down here, and we express it by doing what we do. So it's like what already happened already. You know how they be like, oh, Jesus already won? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
don't care. It don't matter what the devil did. What Jesus did already won. So it's like Jesus did a cosmic event, and we just now getting the message down in our reality, but it already happened, and it have to trickle down different dimensions.
Exactly.
It's just like when your body is moving, like all the blood don't flow at one time to each dimension of your body. That's why sometimes when you fall asleep on your arm or something, it cuts that
It's
off, and then when you wake up, the blood goes back to, and you can feel it because it be numb because when there was no blood in there. But when the
right.
blood get back in there, the pins and needles, then you can feel it again. So that's how energy moves throughout dimensions of the cosmos. So so the top part of your dimension of your body will get it before the lower half.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they have to flow. So that's basically what's going on here. But we get a early warning. Just like your body gets an early warning from your central nervous system when you're in pain, when something hits you and you get a warning from your brain. Oh, so it sends a message, and the message would be this TikTok
Yeah,
letting
it
us
comes to
know
the
that
form.
time
Yeah.
is at hand. And you gotta think about it's called the hourglass. Now, if you take it back to Egyptian
Horse.
mythology, yeah,
Horse.
yeah, hourglass would mean horse, right? Just like when you look at the clock, it says the hour hand. You know what I mean? The hour hand would be horse. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because that's basically what it's doing. You gotta think about this. This comes back from ancient Egypt anyway. The hourglass comes from ancient Egypt anyway,
Yep.
and it was a more so. It was alchemy, it was spirituality, it was all those things mixed in one. It was just them observing how the world and the universe work through vortexes. Because everything, and when we say vortexes, you got to think about what's the energy of a vortex. Well, a vortex is just two opposite energies coming together and creating a world. Just like a male and a female come together and create a baby, which is also a world.
Those are two
So
worlds creating
yeah,
another
that's
world.
all that
Right.
is. Yeah, that's all that is. And then when you look at it as computer code or matrix code, it would just look like ones and zeros. You know what I'm saying? It just look like ones and zeros on top of each other, positive and negatives. And it's also a power source because batteries operate in that same structure.
Yeah, positive and negative. Right.
Yeah, everything operates like that. So there's about to be a big energetic shift, y'all. So we're currently in the age of draconian age right now. That's why in the Flip the Switch challenge, Drake is performing a song. And Drake is the biggest artist right now.
But yeah.
He's the biggest
And
artist,
then
like seriously.
and on the flip side of that, Beyonce is you seen her bringing in the new age through the portals
Right.
on
Right.
stage through the Metropolis
Right.
stage ritual that she did.
Right.
That's why I be saying these celebrities on the world stage is just symbols. You know what I mean?
Facts.
They're just being used, you know what I mean, to represent what's taking place cosmically. They use the celebrity on the world stage because they're able to reach millions of people at one time.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
So they
But
also call this a polar shift.
yeah,
So there's a polar shift. So you gotta think about when the North Pole and the South Pole switch, and the North becomes the South, and the South becomes the
Come,
North.
yeah,
Do you understand? Like, so we're approaching that time now. This TikTok is representing that. So the pyramids is about to be turned upside down.
yeah. That's what that represents. Yeah, because the pyramids, if you understand the shape of the pyramids at the surface level, it's a it's act. The pyramids are actually a diamond.
Right,
So it'll go up at the top point, but then down below the surface of the pyramids is a diamond shape going downward. So it
right.
looks like it's a diamond. That you know what
And,
I mean?
and let y'all know the paradigm shift have to happen because that's what prevents death. Because if it just stay like that for eternity and it never switches, never change positions, that's called stagnation.
Which would
Stagnation is considered death in the spiritual realm.
yeah, which would never happen.
Yeah, it can't happen. So there always have to be a shift. Like that's even with the human body. Like a human body can't lay in the same position
Right,
for years and years and years. It have to
right,
switch. It have to change positions, or parts of it to start to fall asleep and break down.
right.
So the whole cosmic thing is like that. And you know what else does that? A baby. Babies do that when they're in utero. When they're in the you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they
They move
changed position.
positions all the time. That's why the baby's moving because they move positions. Just you got to because nothing can be stagnant. The spirit is always moving, light is always moving, energy is always moving. When it stops and it's stuck somewhere, that's called damn. That's called a dam. That means it's damned.
And
That
that's the
means it's
only
in a
curse.
hell.
Yeah,
It's
right.
yeah, it's damned.
Damn, right,
Like when the energy is stagnant and it stops, it's damned. You know what I'm saying? So that's where they get the word damn from. Like for somebody to be damned. It just means that your energy ain't moving no more.
right,
That's why the Most High had to have something like the garden and the draconian, the serpent. The serpent represents the draconian age. But then that's a paradigm switch because you gotta think about it. The serpent also represents wisdom. It represents wisdom because you learned more, you know what I mean, by by witnessing, observing this paradigm shift within yourself and on the outside of yourself. Because you gotta think about the story of Adam and Eve was two spiritual celestial beings witnessing a paradigm shift to where they became human. They went from a celestial being to a human. That's a paradigm shift. That's all that's talking about. And the hourglass represents that. Let me keep reading on with this symbolic meaning of it. This is a good article right here. So it
yeah,
says energy passes between the two sides of the hourglass, just as the energies of our world are contained by the atmosphere and crust. All of the natural process and cycles occur there, not including what happens in space, of course, which gives us a greater sense of relation with our environment. This also forces us to realize our roles in the natural cycles happening around us. Another common theme associated with the hourglass symbolism is the idea of inevitability. All of the events in nature run on cycles, and although we do have a say in our lives, there are some cycles that just cannot be stopped. This is a good thing since Mother Nature usually knows best. It should also be a little bit comforting to know that life will always prevail one way or another. Nothing is completely in our hands. We must trust that nature will guide us the right direction to some degree. Facts.
right. And if you see
Some
on this
things are just
hourglass,
inevitable, y'all. It's going to
yeah.
happen.
So if you see, this is a great a great illustration of the hourglass. You see how on a cycle where ups becomes down and down becomes up, so it's going in
Hmm.
a 360-degree motion.
Right,
See that it's going around. So up will become down, left will become right, and right become left. You see that?
right.
And we're constantly moving like on a axle. You know what I'm saying? So this is actually a great illustration of the hourglass, if you would look at it in you know through a cosmic eye, you will see this, us being on the axle, and then it's constantly going around in a circle of motion
Right.
to the point where it's up. Night will become day, and day will
Yep.
become night.
Alpha and Omega. Yep. It goes from
Alpha
the
and
alpha to
Omega.
the Omega.
Yep.
Yep. First will be last, and last will be first. Last will be first, and first. It's all just bunch of paradigm shifts going from feminine energy to feminine. It's bouncing from hot to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold, and everything, all the degrees in between.
All right.
Everything in existence work like that. Everything in existence work like that. It has to, because that's what creates life. And as long as it keeps spinning, it creates energy, which is life.
Exactly. Right.
Y'all get what we saying? Like, and you see that in some of the models of our machines here. Like when you build in the engine, the gears and shit have to keep spinning to create life. So those gears literally
It's a
represent the
clock.
way the energy
Yeah.
move, the soul energy moves.
The clock represents that because the
Yeah, and
gears
the
in the
clock
clock have to
represents
keep
that, right?
turning. The gears in the clock
And the
has to keep turning.
wheels, and
The
the wheels
wheels.
on your vehicles represents that.
Right.
That's how you
Ezekiel.
get from point A to point B in time and space.
That's what Ezekiel will represents.
Right. Right. That's the computer code. Do the math. That's the computer code. Ones and zeros. It's just showing you on the infinite cycle of ones and zeros. And the ones and zeros in between that is alchemy. You
Right.
turn negative into a positive. That's alchemy. That's literally showing you the matrix code. The matrix
That's,
code is literally
yep.
alchemy.
That's what turning water to wine
Turning
actually
water to
represents.
wine.
Right.
That's literally the alchemy. Ones and zeros. So you convert a zero into a one, convert a one into a zero. That's how you read code on a grand scheme, on the cosmic code. Cosmic code.
So yeah, damn, this article really breaks down every
Bro,
aspect of the hourglass.
bro.
Yeah. All right.
If anybody ever see how, like, if you think about it, there's many different types of vortexes. You got tornadoes. Tornadoes is basically a vortex.
Yeah.
Tornadoes are basically, and then at the center of the tornado is an eye there. Same thing with hurricanes. All those are just vortexes because that's the energy being stirred up there, because that's just a point where the energy is being concentrated. And what happens is two opposites, a cold front and a hot front, meet each other, and it creates a vortex. So it's just like the feminine and the masculine coming together. It's the same thing as sex. Tornado is no in hurricanes is no different than sex, because these
Yeah. It's like the
concepts are
hot and cold.
transferable.
Yeah.
Because when you see what a hurricane and a tornado is, that's because a
Hot
cold
and cold.
front and a
Yeah.
hot front are clashing together, or
Exactly.
boom, just run into each other, and it creates a vortex around each other.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the receipts right there. Like, this can't even, and that's literally what the hourglass is. The feminine and masculine principle coming together. And then what you see in the desert? A sandstorm.
Yeah.
You see them big ass sandstorms in the desert with the hourglass? That's basically the same concept of an hourglass. The big ass sandstorms in the desert.
Yeah. That's why they used. That's why the sand was used for the hourglass.
Right. Bro, and there's certain energy inside of the sand also because of the minerals.
Right. Electromagnetic charge.
Right.
And that's why when you put your feet in the sand, you get electrical charge from that.
Do you understand we could power cities with this shit?
Hell
And
yeah,
we
and
just like,
we have. That's
and
what
we
the
have.
pyramids was. The
It's just
pyramids
that
was
it's being
energy.
suppressed.
Yeah, they were
Right.
energy
The
grids.
technology is being suppressed.
So the capstone at the top of the pyramid was an energy or resort basically absorbs the sun. You know what I
Right.
mean? So which they needed to build the capstone at the top, to absorb the sun to power everything that's around it. That's how they was able to power the cities up, is by using the sun. So you would look at the sun, the capsule at the top of the pyramid will be a solar energy panel that be at top of
Right.
your house. You know what I'm saying? That's what the
But it's
capstone was.
absorbing way more damn energy
Way, yeah, way
than
more.
than
Yeah,
than
of
a
course.
solar panel because it's
Yeah,
also operating off of electromagnetic energy,
right. And not only
and that's
that,
all around us.
yeah, and then
That's all around. That's
then the
Nikola
pyramids,
Tesla.
yeah,
That's
the
Nikola
pyramids was
Tesla
built.
technology basically.
The
Well, it's not
pyramids was built
his, but
man,
that's
with
basically where he got that concept from. This is how metaphysics create technology, y'all. You see, we actually just put y'all through the process of how geniuses come up with advanced technology. The only way you could do it is by tapping into this metaphysical knowledge,
yeah, and the sand.
because
They
we're
took
just the
the sand
micro and the macro.
and they took the sand from the desert and built the blocks to make the pyramid, which its energy sensors already in the sand that
Facts.
correlates with the sun. That correlates with the sun. That's why they
Because
built
of
the
the minerals.
capstone. Yeah.
Right.
So not only
But it's
was
the
it
whole environment, not
yeah,
just the
that's what
sand,
I was
but the
about to
air
say.
too.
Not only just to
Everything.
power cities, but to also maintain you know what I mean, maintain the energies here on earth as well. Even the energies within our bodies correlates with the sun and the sand. So that big the pyramids you see is whole big energy grids that was
Hmm.
sustaining life period and everything around it. Not just powering the grids in the city, but also sustaining the energy that's all around us.
But
The
it's
ancients was
also a
stepped in.
pyramid on top of that that we can't see.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So that's what we dealing with. Yeah, this part now. Let me see. Let me go down a little bit. Go down. Mm, all right.
Yeah, this is definitely this is definitely a time to witness a paradigm shift that we about to see right now. And the way things are going is look like it's happening in our lifetimes.
Yes, all it's doing is expressing
So this
itself.
is like when all different realities meet. That's why we actually seeing this Mandela effect shit. Y'all remember this Mandela effect shit? I don't know if y'all ever heard of that. The Mandela effect, when people was remembering things differently than other people. It's because it's like it's different timelines. Because you gotta understand with this paradigm shift, multiple timelines are lived at once. You gotta understand all reality is not what we think it is. Every decision you ever thought of or made creates a world and reality. That's how they get the physics of alternate universes. That's how, if you a theoretical physicist, astrophysicist, they all believe in this theory of alternate universes. That's because there have to be. Because our soul is not one dimensional. Just because our own human two eyes only see the dimensions we see, don't mean that it's not more to the puzzle. And we know that because we only got five senses. But we know the world is a lot bigger than our human senses. So we're cut off from all the other dimensions. So you already know all those times, all those decisions that you made that created other worlds, what
Yeah,
happens when they all collide with each other? What happens?
creates vortex.
Right. What happens when all that clash together? It comes together and yeah, it creates a vortex, and right after they crash, it creates the paradigm shift because they flip on top of each other.
So
And
you
that
can see.
literally creates tornadoes and hurricanes.
Yeah, the Big Bang, exactly, Crystal. Like I was just about to say that. Yep, the Big Bang. Yup.
So the Big Bang is literally
Yeah, apparently.
another metaphysical example of the Big Bang is sex.
Yeah,
Another metaphysical uh, example of the Big Bang is when you turn on an engine, and that spark that you get when you turn on the combustion engine, and it sends out that burst of energy, and it brings the energy, the engine to life, the car or the whatever craft it is to life. But when it brings it to life, it's still intellectually bought. Like everything is still like the Big Bang happened, but it's still intellectual components to it. So that means a conscious being created the Big Bang. So both theories are right. Because a Big Bang have to happen, a spark have to happen for there to be life. Just like when you have sex, that electric spark that the man sent into the woman, into the fertilized woman, that creates a life. Same thing with the Big Bang. Somebody had to turn the switch on though.
exactly.
Same thing when you play with the clit. Sorry to say, I mean, like all that is
Yeah,
it's
yeah. It
it's
turns
literally
on.
all a part
Yeah,
of that.
yeah. It turns on the woman when you play with the. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's
exactly,
called and it drives them to an orgasm. But another word is organism. An
exactly.
orgasm can create organisms. You see, the Big Bang is literally that.
It's sex,
But it's
bro.
still some intellectual
Yeah,
components to
it's,
it.
it's
So the Big
yeah,
Bang
right.
ain't something that happened. So Darwin's theory is wrong and right. Creation
So
story is right.
and that's just that's just the
Creation
masculine
story is
and
right
the
because
feminine
we got to
collide.
create babies
Right.
now.
Exactly. So
It's
that's what
still
birth.
intellectually done.
That's what's birth world. Sex is the only thing that birth worlds, man. That feminine and that masculine has to collide to
Right.
create worlds, man. So it's happening. So we're seeing it at the human level, but that happens. It also happens cosmically as well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing that can birth worlds is the masculine and the feminine colliding. That's metaphysics, man. That's metaphysics. So
See, when you see the thing is when you add spirituality to the Darwinism shit, then you get the truth, the full truth. You gotta understand everybody's putting half truths out there. The religious world, Darwinist, science world, all of them are putting half truths. You gotta make them whole, be holy, make them shits whole. And they do fit together like a perfect puzzle. Now, if you want to talk about the whole coming from apes thing, see, you can't. That's some of this. A lot of this shit is not literal. Now, if you take a spiritual being and you wipe them clean and throw them down to earth inside of a human vessel, their consciousness will be sort of like a monkey. Not saying that niggas came from monkeys, but your spiritual understanding and consciousness will be that of a monkey's. Like you'll be able to walk around like a man and do all this, but your intelligence will be just like a monkey.
yeah, you wouldn't have the
Now we all
conscious.
came from that.
You wouldn't
We
have the
came
conscious.
from that because when we're first thrown down to earth, we forget who we are, what we are, where we came from. Now remember, even to you religious folks, what do it say in the scriptures? I knew you before you were in the womb. So
Mhm.
if the Most High can say He knew you before you were in the womb, that means you existed before you were even born into a womb. So that means you were a being before you were a human. You were something else before you were human. So that means when you became a human, you fell from glory. So if you fell from glory and everything
That's
was
what the
white,
fall was. That's what the fall was.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what the fall is. Adam and Eve was fell from glory. The human race fell from glory. So we were all cosmic beings that fell from glory. We always
Mhm.
existed. So we fell from glory. So that means our wings, our spiritual wings, and our foresight and our eyesight was stripped from us. Now we can only see things in human symbology,
Yeah.
which is the lowest. The lowest of the lowest.
Right.
So
Facts.
it brought us down to a monkey type of consciousness
For sure.
compared to how we were. We are monkeys right now. Our consciousness is monkeys right now compared to how we were when we were cosmic beings before we fell to earth. All of us. We fell to earth, y'all. I mean, let's just call it what it is, niggas. We fell to earth. We fell to earth.
So
We
so
came here from
so
somewhere
when you
else.
yeah, so when you
So when we came
so
here, we got monkey consciousness
so yeah, so when
compared to
you
how we used
it
to
says
be.
when the scriptures talk about the fallen angels
Right.
or the fallen angels, that would be considered us basically the consciousness of our spiritual beings falling into these human vessels, be encased in these human vessels. You know what I'm saying? And basically we don't have the knowledge of the all. We only given it partially because even being in the human state, our human state, we couldn't even grasp um the whole, the all.
Nope.
We wouldn't even be able to even. That's like trying to put a goddamn 98, a 1998 hard drive into a new fucking supercomputer and shit. It just ain't gonna fit. It ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? So we had basically our consciousness had to be lowered to even be to exist in this you know what I mean, here on earth and shit. We don't have it all. We don't have the 100% use of our consciousness right now because we in these human vessels.
So our
Because
consciousness is like monkeys. Cause just think
yeah,
about it. So that's metaphysics. It's like a metaphor. This world is a metaphor, y'all. So you gotta think about it. Imagine a monkey's trying to run this world in its complexity.
well, yeah, well, it
Like
would be
like
like,
this, like a monkey wouldn't be able to run this world in
if,
its complexity. Create markets and you know
well, if you watch the movie,
architecture and all this type of stuff. The stuff that we do. So you gotta think about it. Our human selves is the same thing compared to our spiritual selves. Imagine your human self trying to run the cosmic universe.
yeah, it
It
won't
wouldn't have
fit.
the slightest
It won't
idea.
even
It'd
fit.
be like a
Yeah.
monkey trying to run this world
So if you watch the
and
movie,
the
If you
complexity that
watch
we run this
Planet of the
world.
Apes, yeah, if you watch
Right.
Planet of the
Yeah,
Apes,
it'd be like some Planet of the Apes shit if that was to
if you watch,
happen.
yeah,
Right.
well, that's what Planet of the Apes, the movie was based off of. Um, spiritual beings falling into falling into the basically the animal state where that's what the beast represents. You know what I'm saying? Um,
The beast.
yeah, exactly. The mark of what you niggas want to consider the mark of the beast and all that. Beast just represents the flesh. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
it
of
represents the
mankind.
body in the east.
Yeah, and you
It
got the
literally represents the body in the east, going eastward.
and just remember, yeah,
The
Caesar.
cosmic body going east.
If you watch the original Planet of the Apes, the Caesar was just a regular monkey. The rest of them was apes and they had consciousness, but the Caesar was just a regular monkey. Remember that? Remember them
Right,
when regular monkey showed up? They was all bowing down to the regular monkey and they was calling him Caesar.
right.
I think that was the one with Mark Wahlberg in it, right? Yeah. That was the one with Mark Wahlberg in it.
Yeah, that was the one with Mark. Yeah, that was. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think Mark Wahlberg was in that. Facts.
And then eventually the apes just took over the planet and shit. Yeah, but this TikTok shit is definitely a countdown to something. That's why they all up in court now. That's you gotta understand that that's the symbolism of the final hour that that TikTok is basically being
That's what
held up in
TikTok is
court.
saying. We at the final
Right.
hour. Facts.
The final hour.
Metaphysically, TikTok is saying we at the final hour, y'all.
You know what I'm saying?
Tick tock, tick tock.
Yup. So yeah, man, this is yeah,
This was a very I bet you this is an aha moment to a lot of people in here
this is interesting.
with
These we
this
living in some real interesting times now.
because
Um,
if you see how simple all this really is, it's not really as complex. It sounds like we on some complex stuff, but it's really not, cause it's all the stuff that we already learned already. We just got to look at it from a higher perception.
And like we said, the changes of the gods right now, the changes of the guards right now. Like you,
Right.
like you said, some people gonna be some people that was extremely wealthy is about to be extremely poor, and
Yes,
those,
they
those
are.
who are extremely poor is about to be extremely wealthy. It has to
Right.
be the tables has to turn. That's
It
what the
has
table.
to.
That's what the tables turn means. It's gonna
The
be a
game is
shift,
going on reset, y'all.
right?
Y'all hear about the Great Reset? Well, the Great Reset is really just a paradigm shift. It's a polar shift.
Yeah, and that's the only way. That's the only way that can keep the balance. I mean, what the shift is, it's just merely just things balancing itself out. Um, so I mean, this is inevitable. It's going to have to. It has to happen regardless. Same as seasons and ages coming around. There's nothing we could do to stop the seasons from coming around. It's inevitable. It has to happen. So it's not really always a bad thing. It's just our human perspective of it. We look at it and be like, "Oh, that's a bad thing." But if we understand it from a higher perspective and a higher meaning, then we understand these things that's happening at this particular time that needs to happen. The destruction has to take place. That's the only way we can rebuild. That's the only way we can rebuild. You can't. I mean, like you can't build in amongst the destruction because all you're gonna do is get tore down. It's gonna get destroyed. You trying to build it. You trying to build at a time of destruction. It's not gonna work. You have to build. It's a time to destroy. It's a time to build. It's a time to laugh. It's a time to cry. You know what I mean? That's just the duality of the life we living in right now. So make sure y'all hit that like button. Definitely hit that like button on this video. These messages need to be in the algorithm. I don't know all the other shit niggas be into. This definitely need to be in the algorithm. Because everybody just talking about TikTok being banned. TikTok being banned. All right, what's the meaning of it though? What do this mean on a global scale of things, on a cosmic level? What do this all means? Nobody's really breaking that down and even talking about that.
Well, this is only for the folks that's, vibrating at this, because everybody ain't ready to hear this type of stuff yet.
Yeah.
So all of us ain't gonna be prepared for this paradigm shift, but some of
Nah,
us will. A small percentage.
right.
Everybody's not going, and it's not meant for everybody to be prepared for it.
Nah.
But you know what's crazy though? Even though um not a lot of people is ready for it, but everybody got some type of inkling that something bigger is coming.
Yeah.
Everybody can feel it. I mean, in the way some people perceive it in different ways. Some people say the Lord is coming back. Some people say we about to, everything's about to collapse. Some people say that a meteor is about to hit or something, or some star about to blow up. It's always something. It's
Yeah.
always something. It just whatever your perception and whatever background you come from, that's what you're gonna believe is coming. But something big is happening. But if you use something as practical as metaphysics, you could just observe nature and see what's happening, what's coming.
Exactly.
That and you ain't
Right.
gotta do all this guessing. Just observe nature itself, and because you gotta remember, you stick to these principles that we're the micro and the macro, we're the microcosm and the macrocosm. So we're like the cells inside of a cosmic body. So what happens? Like just observe your own human body. How does that move? Like what makes it healthy? What makes it do this? What makes it go through this cycle? Just compare the two. All right, so if it's happening in my body, it must be happening cosmically because I'm the micro and the macro. because you're only made up of the same shit that of the reality you in. Where is your body made up of? Water
The
and dirt
elements.
and bacteria and stuff like that, right?
The
And
elements.
gases.
Yeah.
Like, what is the universe and the earth is made up out of the same thing? So you're only made up out of the very elements that you're living in. So that means you have to be a cell inside of a bigger structure, a body, because that's the life of a blood cell. If you think about it, the blood cell is literally made up of everything that the whole body is made up out of. You're literally a blood cell. So you gotta think about, all right, are you gonna act as a blood cell or are you gonna act as a cancer? Well, based off your energy, your energetic signature, you're gonna act like however your energetic signature is. And if
It
your
may act,
energetic
it might be
signature is
cancerous.
affected
Yeah.
with some type of
It might be
outside
cancerous.
substance,
Yeah.
then you're gonna probably act as a cancer cell.
It might be cancerous, or it might be you know,
What, benign?
right.
So we don't. Yeah, I mean, that's how you see. All right. So what's coming then? What's coming? Now we know things are being destroyed because you can see it all around us. So just observe nature. All right, so we see when you look outside, you see fall happen, right? And you see during fall, naturally things get destroyed during fall. That's why you see all these dead leaves on the ground. So those dead leaves are all over the place, and it looks like destruction. But first, the destruction look beautiful. You get all the views, you know what I
Yeah,
mean,
you
make all the money, and it
yeah.
looks like when the
Colorful.
flowers start changing colors, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
But
Get
towards
all the
the end of
color.
the fall, them Jones start to look rugged and
Get
dried
all
up, and
get
they
all the
start
beautiful
dying,
fall.
and they fall back down to the earth.
So what would winter be? Winter would be actually death.
Right.
Spring will actually, and that's what spring. Everything springs back up in the
Yeah,
springtime.
from what died before,
Yeah.
all the
In
dead
summer,
leaves,
in
all the
summer,
dead leaves
yeah.
fertilized that ground. The winter preserved it and purified it, and then spring came around.
The sun would be the sun. Summer would become, where everything's fully bloomed.
Facts. So if that's what happened in nature, so that means that's what's happening on the planet.
It has to happen on
See,
a
all of
cosmic.
our glory days and all that type of stuff, that was when the leaves was changing colors and looking beautiful. But
Mhm.
you know, those glory days, they decline fast because it's the season for it. Because nothing lasts forever on this plane of existence. Because it's not the absolute. So of course we're going to see destruct. And end times just means it don't mean it's the end of everything and everything ceased to exist, or you
Yeah,
just live with God forever. You're living with God now.
yeah. The final hour
Everybody
just
in the
means
present,
death.
yeah.
That's it. Final hour just means death
It
before.
just
I
means
mean,
the end
before
of one cycle to a new
to
one.
another. Yeah,
From winter, it's no different from moving from winter to spring and summer. Winter, spring, and summer. It's no different. It's the same exact thing. So when you say the earth is dying, the earth ain't really dying. It's just creating new life. And our cells in our body does the same thing. We have dead cells in our body all the time. And what happens? New blood cells always spring up. When it's actually, I know the scientific process is called autophagy. When your cells die off and it use the nutrients from the old cells to create
it
new
recreate
cells.
itself. Yeah,
Yeah,
cells only die and
create
reproduce.
new blood cells, and it's only a clone of the other ones. It's only a clone. That's why we say we're all clones. That's another whole stream right there. We're all clones. You gotta think about it. The whole concept of cloning, our body does that naturally with our blood cells.
Yeah, cells have to die to
That's
reproduce.
literally a cloning process coming from the bone marrow. See, they able to create this technology of cloning based off of metaphysics.
That's the only way they can create it.
That's the only way they could create it. That's what we telling you right now. This metaphysics channel is literally showing you how they come up with advanced technology because they can only do it all based off the nature that we're living in.
Yeah, everyone has to follow the laws of nature.
Right,
The laws of nature is everything follows that. Everything is set up on that cycle.
right. Everything is set up. So what is
Everything
happening
is set up on that
globally
cycle.
then? The old systems are dying off. They, you know what I mean? The systems, the former systems that we were
Yeah,
living in,
it's dying. Yeah,
as
it's
we know it, is dying.
so it will be like the same thing with the financial system. We will move
Right.
from the physical, the physical dollar into a digital system. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And we've done this before. We're just going in cycles, y'all. You got to realize that we're just going in cycles. That's it.
That's all it is. We
We
just
we
literally just
we,
going in cycles
we continue to do this over and over and over again.
forever because we're immortal beings. Because our energy is immortal, but our energy gets encapsulated in physicality,
Exactly.
and physicality is a fallen state, or hibernation or a sleep state. It's not death.
Cocoon
It's
sleep.
only
Yep.
death when you stay there too long.
Exactly. And that's what hell represents. You talk
And
about going
science
to
and spirit
hell.
and science and spirituality backs this up because when it comes to religions, they say the spirit never dies; it goes somewhere. Whether they believe it's hell or anywhere else. And then you
Yeah.
got other, you know what I'm saying? You got to think about it. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing with science. The energy got to go somewhere, but it never disappears. It never disappears. You know what I'm saying? It just regenerate and it takes another form. Or you can, or you know what I mean? In science, we found ways to use it for machinery and all that other stuff. So the energy still acts the same, whether you're talking about it spiritually or you're talking about it scientifically. It's still the same energy. It's all still the same energy. So where did the division come? Where did the division come in at?
Well, the division came in where when they wanted to push a certain agenda. Um, they wanted to basically separate. Uh, and then again, we cosmically separated ourselves because you got to remember, you know, the Most High is one body and it has many members. So we cosmically separate ourselves. So it would be the Most High fragmenting himself onto Earth, and we're being an extension of that. So everything was that's what the Tower of Babel represents, being the one, and then being separated. That was like uh the curse that we had to bear, being a cosmic consciousness that of one, and then being separated. So that's what the Tower of Babel actually represents. The one fragmenting itself into many. Yeah, right. So it only became separated because we decided to do that cosmically, to separate ourselves down here on the physical level. It's like a game. It's like we playing a game with ourselves, bro. Because you're not born into this life knowing it all. So we basically born into this puzzle piece where we had to basically puzzle everything back together using different perspectives, because all perspectives leads back to the one regardless. So this is a game we pretty much decided to enter, just to get back to that to the one being.
Right.
And that's the real return of the Christ, is when the collective consciousness of everyone is on one accord. That's what you would call the second coming, or the return, is all of us consciously, um as a collective consciousness, moving on one accord. You ain't got to wait for nobody. It ain't about nobody coming out the sky and saving us, and that all that happens from within inside of us. There's nothing up there
Right.
or out there for you to even be waiting on. Everything right now is moving through us. So when we all decide to wake up consciously and move at one accord, that is the return of the Christ right there.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know why people sitting back waiting for something to come out of the sky.
There's nothing gonna come out the sky and save nobody.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? Everything is moving through us.
Right.
And that's in all religions. But it don't matter what religion background you come from. It's all saying the heaven is within. Every spiritual system is saying the heaven is within.
The micro and the macro, man.
Yeah.
Man,
Man,
all right, man, we about to get up off of here,
make sure y'all
man.
hit that like button,
Make
please.
sure
Hit
y'all
that like
smash that
button.
like button. But man, this was a powerful live, man. Make sure y'all share this. Get this out there. See, this the type of stuff I want to hear on podcasts. I'm getting tired of that garbage out there.
No, it's meant that's here for a particular time because we gotta destroy this,
Facts.
remember?
Right.
That's why we night and day.
Facts.
I mean, you might catch us up over there on night and day talk media being destructive, and over here we're building.
Being messy. Right.
Yeah, that's
Messy.
night and day. That's what night and day
Facts.
represents. Like,
But we also got some content that brings dark things to light and make you
yeah,
think.
exactly.
But yeah, man, make sure y'all like this video, man. Share, subscribe if you haven't already.
Yeah.
Man.
If you want to support the shops, nightanddaynetmarket.com. The links is in the
Facts.
description of this video. Also, if you want to donate, the Cash App is across the screen or whatever, any form, or just liking and sharing the videos. Any form of support we appreciative of. Yep. All right. So much love to y'all, man. We're gonna catch y'all on Night and Day Talk video on a later third shift, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. All right, we up out of here, y'all. Peace.
Zeolite is one of the most amazing minerals of our age. Millions of people have been using detoxification supplements to remove harmful toxins, pollutants, heavy toxic metals, as well as to balance pH levels, lower the risk of viruses like cold and flu, support the immune system, and improve nutrient absorption. What is zeolite? Zeolite is a volcanic ash that forms over time when ash and lava react with alkalized water, resulting in a compound with a very strong cage-like structure and a negative charge. Zeolite is one of the most fascinating and powerful nature remedies available. Great to detox and balance your body. Health benefits of detoxing. The removal of excess heavy metals can improve overall health. Detoxification helps balance a body's pH levels. This product provides 30 capsules, 1 month supply, ships within 3 days. Purchase now at nightanddaynetmarket.com.